The smell hit first. Not blood. Not smoke. Something worse. Something old, damp, and wrong, like the air itself had been trapped underground for years. When police finally forced open the basement door of a quiet house in Cleveland, Ohio, they didn't expect silence. But they got it. Until a faint sound came from the dark. A whisper. "Please, don't leave us here." What they found inside would later be described as one of the most disturbing true crime discoveries in the state's history. It started with a missing person. 23-year-old Melissa Carter disappeared after finishing a late shift at a diner in 2011. She was reliable, predictable, the kind of person who always checked in with her family. But that night, her final text never came. Her car was found days later near a gas station. No struggle. No witness. No answers. At first, police treated it like a runaway case. Then they found the first inconsistency. Her phone last pinged just a few miles from a residential neighborhood on the outskirts of the city. Right near a house owned by a man named Raymond Hale. Raymond looked harmless. Middle-aged. Quiet. Worked on small repairs. Greeted neighbors with a polite nod. Nobody suspected him. But behind that calm exterior was a basement carefully modified over years. Soundproofing. Reinforced locks. Chains fixed into the concrete walls. A place designed not for storage, but for people. And Melissa wasn't his first victim. When Raymond took her, it was quick. Security footage showed her standing outside the gas station, speaking to a man briefly. Then she disappeared from frame. She was never seen above ground again for over a year. Down in the basement, time stopped meaning anything. No sunlight. No clocks. Only routines controlled by Raymond. Food when he decided. Silence when he demanded it. Punishment when he felt anger. And Melissa was not alone. 2 other women were already there. Both had been missing for years. They communicated in whispers when he wasn't around. Not because they had hope. Because it was the only thing keeping them human. Raymond's pattern was always the same. He targeted women who wouldn't be immediately missed by powerful systems. People working night shifts, those traveling alone, those in between stability and disappearance. He studied them first. Watched them. Then waited for the moment they were most vulnerable. And then he moved. But something changed in 2013. A snowstorm knocked out power across parts of the neighborhood. Inside the basement, one of the electronic locks malfunctioned for the first time in years. That mistake would become the turning point. Melissa noticed it first. The chain on her wrist was slightly loose. Not enough to matter. Until she tested it again. It slipped. For a moment, she froze. Not from fear, but from disbelief. After years underground, possibility felt more dangerous than captivity. That night, Raymond drank more than usual upstairs. Music was loud. His movements careless. The women waited. Minutes stretched into hours. Then finally, Melissa moved. Slow. Silent. Every step calculated from memory of sound alone. One by one, the others followed. The stairs creaked beneath them like warning shots. At the top, they stopped. They could hear him in the living room. Laughing at the television. Alive. Close. They almost turned back. But then a sound broke the moment. Raymond walking toward the hallway. Panic snapped into action. Melissa grabbed the nearest object she could find and slammed it into the basement window panel. Glass shattered. Cold air hit their faces like reality returning. The noise changed everything. Footsteps turned sharp. Fast. He knew. "Get back down there," he shouted. But it was too late. The women ran. Barefoot. Bleeding. Screaming. A neighbor across the street heard the chaos and immediately called police. Raymond tried to stop them at the kitchen doorway, grabbing one of the women. But Melissa fought back with broken glass, striking him hard enough to break his grip. That single moment gave them escape. They burst through the back door into the snow. And kept running. Police arrived within minutes. Raymond was arrested in his yard after trying to flee. What investigators found inside the house was worse than expected. Chains. Locks. Personal belongings of multiple victims. And evidence of long-term captivity stretching years. At least 3 confirmed survivors were identified immediately. Others were suspected. And some were never found. In court, the survivors testified for hours. Their voices shaking but steady. They described a basement where time didn't exist. Where silence was survival. Where hope was something they had to rebuild from nothing. Raymond Hale was convicted on multiple charges including kidnapping, torture, and attempted murder. He was sentenced to life in prison without parole. But the real horror didn't end in court. It stayed in the minds of the survivors. Because what haunted them most wasn't just what happened underground. It was how normal everything looked above it. A quiet house. A polite neighbor. A man nobody questioned. And right beneath it all, a basement of horror.